Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, I'm being joined once again by Jimmy and Nick.
You tried really, really hard at the beginning of that not to do the YouTube voice.
He did his best.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Today's matchup is our finals this past weekend. It is me versus Jimmy. I'm playing SS4 Bardock, while Jimmy's playing, as he phrased it last video, I think General Rilldo.
Rilldo.
Yeah.
That's a real dildo right there.
Shit. There's buttons down below.
So.
Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. Let's get into today's matchup.
God damn the YouTube voice.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think it's a little bit more deeper than that, but hey, let's continue.
You and your God complex.
Yeah, I do have one. I could just do a whole video so I played a card and I charged something and I tried to do these really cool effects and it just didn't seem to matter a lot of times.
Now we got Shaggy on the mic.
Zoinks! Alright, so it's for real.
Can
Go
we
ahead.
restart the video?
No, we're into it now. Explain your cards and autos and stuff. And how much you hate going first.
Robots. They put robot in robot hand, and then robot play robot, and then the robot play another robot.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yep.
So when you don't have the leader swing, on turn one, you have to spend the energy right away to get your effects because you don't benefit on the leader swing to just free play it. And
yeah, I mean it's a one drop, and especially the Nezzy has barriers, so it's easy just to throw that out there and just let it set on the field. That's my favorite turn one play in pretty much every situation.
Can we talk about this real quick? Sorry, you have 9 life. What was the reason again? I swung at you. It was a 9k attack. You said I gain a life.
So you swung at me with a 9,000, and on leader attacks, it's a new rule I just made up that if it's lesser than my leader, then I get to gain a life. So since it come from the top of my deck, I just gracefully drew that from my life instead.
Yeah, so it wasn't any extra cards added anywhere. He just I was about to pass turn anyway, so he just moved it somewhere else. But yeah, you like to kind of do this weird not transform, but Power Ranger thing where you take all your droids and put them together, make bigger ones.
I like to think it's like really fucked up Animorphs.
God.
I like
God.
What animal do they turn into?
Y'all know that one scene from House of Thousand Corpses where he becomes a fish, and he sews him up and makes him a fish. I like that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So, we talked about it, I think, in my matchup with Jason, how the whole energy and picking stuff like that, and the first card I charged had no energy based effects for being played, and I felt like that was probably the best what's in my hand. Just hold on to other things and just get rid of something that could be potentially a good card just to play very cheaply, but instead just charge it and then don't worry about it. I did end up also charging one that hits a unison marker just because I think the cards in my hand are more valuable in this moment.
It can be kind of daunting to look at the myriad effects in SS4 Bardock's hand and determine which is the best option at this time. Which once you learn the deck and learn your matchups, it becomes less of a problem.
Yeah, like this misplay.
Yeah, SS4 is such a unique toolbox set that it makes it really fun to play against all archetypes because you really have you have so many options for everything. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have held off on that though.
Yeah, I was really trying to bait the play. I was expecting the Vegeta of all things, really.
The one I charged, yeah.
Yeah, the one you charged. Because I knew you're wanting to cheat out your 2-drops. The 3-drop has the alternative effect that you can pay 1, warp it, and then play a 2-drop. Which I don't really want to deal with that. So I was trying to bait it, and luckily it was the Goku. I was able to snipe it, and benefited my unison more than it hurt it, which is usually the other way around.
And this will come back to bite me later on.
Baby Unison is just fantastic.
It is.
It's so incredibly good. I have seen people in a lot of Rilldo chats suggesting the Sin Shinron Unison over this particular baby Unison, which in some situations I can see could be decent. But just the amount of value that you get off of this baby, your leader card does not get a inherent draw on attack. You do get to play a 1-drop, which usually adds a card to your hand, draws, or does something. You get your draw from activating Union Fusion or evolving. But just having like a static, just activate this skill, draw 1 is nice. Plus, it's fantastic removal. It becomes a 20k beater. And it is incredibly sticky, just being able to drop cards out from under it.
And real quick, that is a misplay. I played the first time I played SS4 Call. I played it right. For some reason, I shuffled my deck this time. I'm going to swing with leader in a second. You'll all see that I will whiff. So it kind of works out, I think. But as you see here, with the charge and then the play, I've selected your 5-drop so far because he doesn't have barrier. And here I'm swinging to lead, and I will combo plus the activate battle, just finish off your 5-drops. You don't have to block anymore. Or potentially go up to a bigger one. Because like I knew going into this matchup, because I actually don't think I played this deck before, but I did know it benefited a lot of the just like fusing up or evolving up to the big boy, and then also playing cards from your drop, or using the cards in your drop as pieces for other things. So I knew I tried to make sure if I could establish certain things, get rid of them.
The 5-drop is the weak link. It does not have barrier. It is a 25k base, which is nice. And I did feel kind of safe throwing it out there because I knew you didn't have a ton of options for removing it, or elegant options for removing it. So I felt pretty safe going out there, but you did expend some resources, so I still see it as a net positive, especially since it will just pop right back out here soon.
Yeah, no, hands down, like, I felt good doing that. It did took a lot, and then you were just kind of like, all right, here's another one. I'm like, okay, never mind.
This Bardock does become a pest on your side because I can't grab it with baby. I can't neg it with anything because it has barrier. So I decided to throw some attacks into it. Just need to force you to expend some sort of resource or just get it off the field.
Yeah. But I knew, like, because you couldn't really touch it, it was a safe bet to keep as long as I possibly could without risking my hand size.
And there was a couple times through here where I missed the draw on the first Evolve or Union Fusion. I think that happened in the previous video as well. If you watch that one with Helku versus Rilldo. I do catch them. I do end up drawing later, and you were gracious enough to allow me to keep those draws.
Yeah, I remember you going, oh, I should have drawn. Like, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm trying to relearn. I'm trying to learn a new deck, man. Leave me alone.
Rilldo is a strange deck in that it's one of the few decks that you want to tap out in, especially when you're running the baby Unison.
Does that help you as much going against SS4 Bardock, though?
Not exactly, but of course it does just put me on par with the 16Ks on your side. So it isn't fantastic, but I do like having just that extra little bump because I know you do run stuff like the SS4 Unison that is a base 15k. I know you run some like standard number cards. So having that plus 1000 is relevant. Plus with something like my Planet M2 or Mechanized Planet, whatever you want to call it, the Tomato Planet, it can neg something by 1000, which could be the deciding factor if you decided to swing with like your Gohan at a base 16. At my base 16, I can just neg it down to a 15. And again, you're not winning by much, but you're still winning in a battle.
And now, is there any defensive pieces that cost you energy in Rilldo?
The only one that I run, which I do side out in this matchup because I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of base 20,000, which it would have helped me later in the matchup, as you'll see. But I took out Violent Rays. But usually the play with Violent Rays is leave one energy open, Violent Ray, and then now all of your opponent's battle cards that are 20k or less now have to attack into a essentially 20k defender leader.
Here's what I was referring to earlier. I was swinging into your, like, after I established the leader swing, my next two attacks were going into your unison. You do have blockers to protect yourself, and I was hoping the Majin Buu extra card would be enough to keep you from doing the activate battle to restand it. But I was trying to get you to detach that Goku, and when you didn't, I'm like, all right, cool. Here comes the unison.
Yeah, I knew that that Goku is great fodder for your drop area and warp. And you know you run the Xeno Fusion, so I was wanting to hold on to that Goku, even though you have other Gokus in your deck. The amount of attacks that you're putting into it put in my head that you need that Goku back into your drop area so you can fuse.
Yep, I did not have another one in my hand at the time, so...
Yeah. So I was holding on to that Goku for dear life. He did a very good job at keeping this unison down. Most people, when they get against the baby unison, is just like, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to let it ride and just face it head on. But you were really good at feathering your attacks into the unison.
And also on that Gohan, I chose not to discard. And I think I remember saying, like, I'm not going to discard. You're like, oh, okay. Because I felt like you rely more on your blockers, and I felt safe that if I didn't do that, you may just stop attacking at some point, unless you wanted, like I said, use your blockers to attack with. Also, shout out to my tokens. They're just my my leaders from TCG medals.
What a flex.
Hey, when you got them, you got them, right?
Where can you get those leaders, Bancroft?
TCGmedals.com. And that is a Z, not an S at the end. Check them out.
Very shameless.
They just redid their whole site, actually. They have, like, Digimon, Dragon Ball. I think they've got One Piece stuff on there now as well. And they are now working on, like, the Z leaders for next set and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Be prepared to spend a lot of money to bring out your decks.
I've already thought about that. I need to actually go back to the site to get a new leader. I'm just waiting for the gold gamma first.
Oh, gamma! Wow, meta horror.
So let's go back to the game.
Meta horror.
So
nah, I don't want to.
Here I'm just once I got a charge. I think I negged your unison down because it did 10k, and now I'm just applying. First one, obviously, it's your leader because my leader naturally will get rid of one of your pieces. But then I'm just, from here on out, just kind of like swinging to the unison. And here I'm purposely comboing up to the 30. Super combo is not bad. And also the other one's from a token. So it didn't really spend too much resources. And once again, it's just a way for, if you want to activate battle, because it negs it by 5, right?
Yes. The activate battle will neg the power by 5 for each time that you restand and detach something. So I probably should have expended the resources, but I felt okay letting you attack into my my unison a few times.
Yeah, right there's you're like, can I see your drop? I'm like, yeah.
So right here is a major turning point in the game. Because you announce Overwhelm, and I am distracted by the bullshittery going on next to us, and I just don't even like acknowledge it. You're like, Overwhelm, and I was like just not even thinking when I had a Videl counter in my hand.
And so true.
That
told, I think even if you had done that, I would have been okay with that, and I was expecting you to do that, but when you're like, no. I'm like, okay. Never mind.
Well, the reasoning B is that with this SS4 coming down and it does ignore barrier on swing, I would have been able to target the Videl and my 1-drop instead of having to hit the 7-drop as well, which would have let me keep the big boy which would have applied more pressure and also could have been a fantastic defensive option.
Yeah.
And you see, I discard one of the Videls here.
That's when I quit. I was like, and you're like, I got distracted. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you had already like turned the card sideways, and I was like, yeah, like I can't, like, I can't do that.
Yeah, there was a game I think last week during Shop Championship when me and Jake were playing, and that happened to us. Like we were on camera though, but I can't remember who was on camera at the time. But like there was a weird rolling going on, and like they called you over, and me and Jake were like, "What's going on?" And we're like, "We need to focus because this is an important match."
Yeah. Yeah, but I was so distracted there, and I was like, well, shit, like I can't do anything about it. And then like looking back on it and thinking, I was like, yeah, like that could have been a major swing, being able to target the Videl over having to hit my other 7-drop Rilldo.
And you choosing, like, I mean, your choices pretty much were Gohan Negates, which I had 2 of, or one of 3 of my super combos. And you're like, get rid of one of your Vegetas. I'm like, okay, cool. And was not expecting the Val. So, like, that was really good. Mixed with the 4 drops, on play, neg 1,002?
Neg 15, yeah.
So, like, that was pretty nice. Being able to get rid of
so
I had a chance to block.
I was thinking, like, very low to the ground in this matchup. And I was thinking that Violent Ray was not going to be very relevant outside of your big boss monsters. So I ended up siding out my 3 Violent Rays for 3 Val Revenge. And I remember saying right before the match, I was like, I'm going to put in 3 cards that do nothing for 3 cards that do nothing. And they did actually become a little bit relevant.
They came in handy.
But I had this play in my head that I was like, this is going to be the funniest thing when I Val Revenge your card down to 1,000 and then kill it with Mechanized Planet. But then when you slam that, I was like, okay, I could actually like remove this without, expending, everything I have.
But you picking the Vegeta helped me so much during this turn right here, actually. With the Gohan, I have to discard a card. So I discarded a Goku. So now I'm established if I could draw into another 8-drop. Yeah, 8-drop. I can play it.
Which I was just more interested in letting you not draw cards. So just telling you to put it in the drop area, of course, it does help you out, but it also doesn't put more cards in your hand.
That is fair, yeah.
Or fresher cards in your hand.
Man, you in these testing down positions, man. You do draw a lot with this deck. Because I think even in Flo's match, like, you just had them ready to go.
Yeah, well, like I said in that match, like, once you get into later turns, you've already filtered your deck out of all the machine mutants within it, that you're just drawing into, like, your gas cards. So you really don't ever have to... by that time, like, your hand is just gas, or just defensive gas, or you're like your King Piccolos or whatever, or your Secret Rares.
Here, you playing Kai real quick made me realize I have to go for Gamp here. Because, like, I pulled a lot of stuff out of my deck already. I don't want to have to restart again. And she sends everything to the warp, so...
Yeah. This was just, like, a desperation play, because I did not have... I did not have my 7-drop in play because of the previous thwarting, so I couldn't put pressure on you on my crackback turn. You did have the other thwarting, so you could boarded both of them. It was just like, I'm just gonna throw this out here and hope that he decides not to swing for some reason, and then I can just kill him on the next turn.
I mean, I think getting the 8 drops in my hands is what really helped turn the game around, like to get rid of your blockers. But, this is the first time I ever played SS4. It ain't bad. And I think you told me up front, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to play SS4 and probably lose. You're like, nah, man, when you talk about lose, that deck's good still. And I'm like, we'll see.
I remember you called me before this event, and you were like, oh, like, I'm thinking about playing SS4. And I'm like, oh, you're going for the win. And you're like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, you mean you're playing like the Swiss Army knife deck? Yeah, whatever you say, homie.
I think every time I've played SS4, I've always had AOD with me, so like I've never had, I've not been beaten. I don't think by SS4. So I was just thinking like, oh, it's not gonna do great. I proved myself wrong. But with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Keep on his buttons down below and on the screen. And Jimmy, would you like to do it, or you want Nick to do it? How about this?
I'm not going to do a YouTube voice, so you probably won't like it, Bancroft.
Nick, will you lead us out?
Great match, you guys. Overall, good night. Read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so you don't have to, and fluff out.